Michael, one of our Michaels, posted a map he had created on my Facebook page the other day of what a broken-up United States might look like. And, it's the old Confederacy. And he also imagined the state of Jefferson, which would be Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. And one thing occurred to me as I looked at the South. If they got their way. Because remember, they're all the right-wingers are all hot and bothered about having themselves a secessionist for the president. The South couldn't feed itself. Especially with climate change going the way it is. The South could not feed itself. It would have to make war on the remaining states of the Union in order to try to capture territory enough to feed itself. In large part, of course, before the Civil War, the South could not feed itself because all of its lands were in cotton. All the plantation owners ate well, but they ate well on credit derived from those cotton sales. Those soldiers in Butternut who went into the Civil War went in hungry, and they either came out dead or hungrier. David in South Carolina noted that they're getting a new Congress critter because of population shifts. Blue states, northern states continue to lose population. Southern states continue to gain it. But the only way that the South can continue to gain population is by virtue of the vast investment in infrastructure that the United States federal government made in lifting the South up out of its own self-imposed misery, including things like the TVA and the Rural Electrification Act. Electricity had come well into the 20th century, and yet the for-profit free market electric companies didn't want to go into places like the rural South because it was not worth it to the free market. It was costly to the free market. It bit into the free market's profits. Only with the vast infrastructure social welfare projects initiated by the federal government did places like Atlanta blossom. Only with the subsidies for electrification of the rural South did the little suburbs spring up. Only, as David in Tennessee notes, with the interstate highway system did the South become accessible to the rest of the nation and even within itself. But the South hates government spending. The South hates government spending that keeps little old ladies from having to scream in 107-degree heat about not having water. But the South hates government spending. God Almighty. And it's worth remembering that if a very rich man pays a little more in taxes, as Lewis Black has noted, what do you have left? A very rich man. Contrariwise, if a very rich man pays a whole lot less in taxes, what do you have left? A very poor nation. And that's where we are. Those are the choices that we face. And yet there are still those who say that Barack Obama did not give enough away of the store in this latest surrender. That we didn't abase ourselves to the rich enough. That true happiness and prosperity will only come when we have absolutely destroyed the government that created the prosperity that enables people in a particular region of this country to scream about the federal government that saved their asses. When you consider it in that light, isn't it just a little bit breathtaking? Yeah, me too. It's an expression of something that I can't even fully comprehend. I mean, really. You have people from largely from a particular segment of our country who want to tear our country apart. Were enabled to make those cries by a level of representation increased in the Congress by virtue of population shifts that were subsidized by the federal government. Well, here's what it boils down to. They really are still fighting the Civil War. And they mean to win. And it does not matter who they hurt, over whom they roll in achieving their victory. So, just bear that in mind.